Good morning, traders. This is a daily market breakdown. On the GBP US dollar, we can see that we are still in a downtrend. And because it has been the Easter weekend, we have not seen that much movement happening. However, what has happened is that we can see the price came up. Internal liquidity was taken before now the price is pushing into the downside. And although it may look a little bit messy, what we can see is that price originally came down. It then pushed itself up, breaking market structure and creating a verified demand zone. Because the price went up, it came back down into this zone before pushing itself back up. The price then re-entered this demand zone, pushing itself again into the upside, breaking market structure, creating this unverified demand zone. So what we may be seeing today is that the price is going to push into this unverified demand zone, verify it, push the price back up. So we might see the price head up into this area here before then pushing itself back down into the daily demand zone down here. So I am looking for a short position. We don't want to go against the trend. So today I am looking for a short position. I think there will be a slight reaction once it enters into this zone. I want to see what happens. And then I'd like to see how it reacts when it comes back up, if it comes back up. And then if I see a break of structure into the downside, then I'm likely going to take a long position targeting the lower lows down here. So that would be my setup for the GBP USD for today. Over to the DXY on the 4-hour frame. Again, we are majorly bullish, although last week we did see a huge pullback into the downside, taking all of the liquidity that was resting below all of these previous lows. What is about to happen, because it is a Tuesday and geopolitical issues, I think the market is currently just going to bounce between these two resistance and support levels until a clear direction with the conflict in the Middle East becomes apparent. And I believe that the conflict is likely going to drive the price even higher today. So what I'm waiting to see is whether or not the market pushes through this level of resistance. If it breaks above this level of resistance, we may see it then enter into this zone before seeing a slight pullback and then pushing up higher and grabbing the liquidity that is resting above this level here. So that will be my ploy with the DXY. And this will play perfectly into how I want to play the GBP USD today. And so remember, you always want to be going with the trend. We can already see that it's pushing itself back up, but I believe it's just going to bounce between these two consolidating lines until the London session opens or the New York session begins. All right, over to gold, US dollar. We can see the price has been reacting very well to our supply and demand trading. We can see that the price came up, it broke market structure, it created this verified demand zone because the price came back down and then it began to retrace back into the upside. The price then consolidated slightly, it pushed itself up, breaking market structure and continued taking liquidity that was resting above this level. So any of those of you that took the trade from last week, congratulations, you would have been TP'd. And we can see the price and then retrace back into the downside toward this demand zone that the price had created earlier. Now we can see that the price is in a consolidation mode. So what could be happening at the moment is we might see the price head back to this verified demand zone. It may continue consolidating, or it may push itself up and have a bit of a reaction when it enters a supply zone, maybe even going as high as the potential liquidity zone before then pulling itself back down and then pushing itself back up. And let me illustrate this. So what we want to see, or what we're likely going to see, is price today consolidating between these lines until the London session starts or the New York session starts. And when we hear of whatever piece of news we're waiting for with the conflict in the Middle East. And so what we could see is that the price comes down slightly into this verified demand zone. I don't think it will break market structure. I don't think it will break market structure, at least a full body break into the downside. I think it will come down here and then it will push itself back up. I think there'll be another little reaction here. It will then come back slightly, push itself up into these zones. We'll look for what type of reaction happens here. And then it would likely come back into a demand zone that is likely just been formed here before then pushing up. So I'm bullish on XAU today, especially with the comments that Trump has been posting out over the weekend regarding how he's going to handle the Iranian conflict. So that would be my play for today. I would be mainly bullish. I'll be looking for longs, and that goes again with the trend. And that's exactly what we want to continue doing. Okay, over to BTC USDT. We are in a very bearish market at the moment. Again, the markets at the moment is very risk off, and BTC is a very risk on asset. So a lot of investors are likely liquidating their positions, especially with this conflict that is happening. That's why we're seeing a push with gold into the upside. That is why we're seeing the DXY, again, valuing more, pushing the British pound down. And if all of our other technical analysis plays out today, then we should see the BTC pushing itself lower. And what we have seen is that the price came down. It then created this verified demand zone because the price pushed itself up. It hit this supply zone. It pushed itself back down into this demand zone, and it begun to consolidate before pushing itself back into the upside, breaking market structure and creating this new unverified demand zone. So what we're likely going to see today is that the price might re-enter this unverified demand zone. It may then come back up. It might try and grab some lower time frame liquidity that is resting around these areas. I mean, it could go a little bit higher, but we're likely not going to see the BTC reverse anytime soon. And then once the price comes back up, I think we're going to then drop back down. So my play would be, if you are looking for short-term trades, you would look for where lower time frame liquidity is resting within this scope here. You'd likely see the price come down here, break a structure into the upside, take a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio, and then you'd likely want to then enter into a short position, targeting this verified demand zone or targeting these previous lower lows here. And so that will be my play for BTC USDT this week. And there it is, traders. That is your daily market analysis breakdown.